Hello friends, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is I have no idea what the date is. It's a day in November. Beautiful day. Current temperature is about 30, maybe 31 degrees or 0 -1 C. As you guys can see, it's a little bit breezy. And we're gonna go feed the chickens. But look at this sky, man. Beautiful, beautiful sky. Not a cloud, not a chemtrail, not a nothing. So all the leaves are pretty much down everywhere, as you guys can see. I happened about a week ago. We lost all the leaves. We've been working on lots of projects, so that's why I have been away. Lots of different things that needed to be focused on. Anyways, hope you guys are well. We got some new containers for everyone, which makes giving water a lot easier now. So let's head on into the barn. I guess we're gonna start off with the chickens first today. We're gonna start in the chicken barn, and then we'll move to the other barns. If you guys not seen, so I'm building a bed here. So you guys can see how thick the leaves are. A bunch of oak leaves. Also, if we need oak leaves, it's nice being able to just reach over into this flower bed and pull out the oak leaves. There's my modification. I don't know if you guys had saw in the past video, I needed to try to figure out a way to let the animals in and out. So we modified this door and made a little trap door that we can lift up and let them in and out. Here's what it looks like on this side, if you guys want to see. So you guys can see, totally getified, but a nice little trap door. Makes it easy for me to get everything that I need to get done. So let's spin this camera around. Spin this bad boy around and say hi to everyone. Hope everyone is enjoying your day of the week. And I don't know what day of the week it is, so. I thought I grabbed the scooper, maybe I didn't. So, but I've shown you guys these, really good. If you're gonna have chickens or animals or stuff like that, I do suggest getting yourself some serving things. This makes feeding and watering a whole lot easier. So, we're gonna keep this little one in here. So I'm gonna walk over there, so you guys can see where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna walk over there to the food container. We're gonna get some food. We're gonna go around feed, and we're gonna just chit chat a little bit about everything. I might do a show tonight. If I do a show tonight, we're gonna talk a lot about some of the ideas that you can do to start bringing up conversation and to start fixing some of the world problems, and how to have, I don't want to say co-opt, but how to use some of the language that some of the extreme people are using, and use that same language to help actually make a difference instead of just, rah, capitalism's bad, all that kind of crap. No, we're going to have honest conversations and start figuring out ways to talk about little tricks that we can do. So we'll talk a little bit about the Appleseed trick. The Appleseed trick is probably a trick that everyone can do. It's a way to counteract some of the narrative and the problems, and actually make things a little bit better. So, what you guys will hear about when we talk about the Appleseed trick is the Appleseed trick is what we're doing is we're going to reduce the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, and we're going to be feeding the world. So, and everyone can do it. That's what's cool about it. And regardless of what you think about, that we don't have enough food or whatever anybody's opinion is on CO2, having more trees is a net positive for everyone, because you can always cut down that tree and burn it for wood, or if you have a lot of people that are in one direction or another, you can say, well, look, I'm planting a bunch of trees, I'm reducing this kind of stuff. So let's get this feed, let's get to work. So I got my scooper right here. So, scooper, feed, animals. Let's get to work. So, with the price of everything going up, because I don't know if you guys have been to the store recently, because here in Appalachia, man, I'm seeing the price of a lot of stuff go up. And boy, am I glad I grew some of the food that I chose to grow and make some of the investments that I did earlier in the year, because it's unbelievable, the price of stuff. And I think it's going to keep going up, at least for the immediate future. And so any bit that you can offset is savings now. So, growing some of your own food, finding a farmer and helping them grow some own food, maybe buying into a CSA if you happen to be in one of those areas you can't grow things. Get yourself some chickens, some bunnies, some quail, whatever. So I've been adding a lot. Like we allowed a lot more chickens to be born this year than we did in the past. Usually we were kind of cutting it down, but with all the silliness, I wanted to make sure that we have plenty. So this particular cage right there is absolutely full of baby silkies. So one of the things me and Lisa talked about is we talked about starting to put together like some homesteading kits. So either just buy lists or things that we suggest people getting, or maybe if we can get them in wholesale, we'll buy a bunch of the stuff and then have the little kits available. But things that you're going to need, like for brand new people that are getting into homestead or brand new farmers or such like that, we're working on like just a list or some items that are very useful that you're going to use on the farm a lot more often than you think. And it is crazy, like there are particular tools that we go to now that are just our number one go-to tool that we use for just about everything. One of them is a bee tool. It sounds ridiculous, but a bee tool is one of the most versatile tools that you can possibly have on a farm. Bee tools are getting up there with like duct tape and baling twine for us. That is how versatile the bee tools are getting. The other things I do suggest is things like, like scoopers. And like I said, we went and picked these up at Goodwill. These are super, super useful as well for a lot of stuff. So, as it falls on the ground. Thanks, man. Again, anybody can raise animals. It's actually a really, once you get into the lifestyle, you actually realize how rewarding it is. And I'll be honest, any of you guys out there that's ever played farming games, like it really is, it's just as tedious as regularly doing things over and over again. But you get like tangible rewards. So, yeah, dude, I'm sorry that you live in the big city. I would suggest at some point in your life, if you do get the chance to just move out to a small town, even just move someplace where you can have a few animals, like just a few chickens or a few bunnies or something like that. Or if you can figure out a way to do urban farming, maybe you can find a plot of land inside of a city and you can do urban farming, like, maybe indoor farming, and maybe all you do is grow plants. It's very rewarding raising animals and raising food and things of that sort. So, but that's something I really want to focus on in the next little bit, is I want to focus on how to really get people to grow indoor vegetables and such like that. So, and one cat, cool. You have to have a cat. Cats are awesome. But I will say, these are one of the fun. These are definitely one of the fun. Hold on, she's flipping out. Let me calm her down a bit. I'm not holding her right, so that's why she's flapping like this. So there we go. Calm down. This is a silkie. Silkies are absolutely spectacular, fun little birds. They're one of the calmest and the best. If you were ever going to have in the city, if you were ever going to have one chicken in the house and you wanted a hen and you wanted something that's just nice and calm and chill, I'd get a silky hen. Okay, all of them. Let's move, so you guys can see across. I'm going to go right there, get that guy. Oh, you guys might like an update on the bees. So right now we're down to 5 hives. So at the peak this year we had 12. We lost our first hive yesterday. Was one of the hives that was born here on the property because me and Mark Boggs were talking about we were coming up with different types of experiments to see if the RF radiation, if that's what's affecting the bees or if it's something I'm screwing up. We don't quite know. So that was the control hive. That was the hive I didn't treat with anything. That was also the hive that was most exposed to the radio frequency waves. So I still have 5 hives, and I still have the lounge bees. I still have that queen with a handful of its friends that are living in my house, that are in the living room. When I get everything rearranged and I get my new, and we get everything set up so I can stream better, I guys will show you the lounge bees and show you how I got all that set up, and we'll break that down in the future. But we're doing a lot of rearranging, so that's why. But so anyway, so we still have 5 hives. We have Stormy Daniels out there in the field, which I'm going to actually be bringing her up closer to the house, over where the other bees are, and then I have 1 hive inside the handy run. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, at least 3 of those can make it through the winter. That would be really, really good. And then next year, I'm going to buy a couple hives, and we're going to really focus on splitting and focus on getting them to raise queens that were born here on the property. I'd like to keep you guys up to date with all the crazy experiments that we're doing here on the farm because, well, I mean, that's what the fun is you guys get to come along with me as I learn how to do and how not to do things. And then for some of you, if you guys decide to start doing things on your own, you guys won't have to necessarily make all the mistakes I made because you guys get to watch some of the mistakes that I make. So I'm going to get these guys fed right over here. Okay, now we're going to switch over. I'm going to get some bunny food. We're going to go through and feed the bunnies. Once we get everybody fed in here, we're then going to head over to the bunny barn and the other places where there's chickens, and then we'll get water. And then after that, we'll go for a short little walk because I'll tell you guys some cool things that are coming up soon. by the way, guys, see us out this freaking guy over here. So even though it is 30 outside right now in the barn, let's grab the thermostat and I'll show you guys. So right now in the barn, it is 47 degrees. So the barn does, the coldest it's been in here is 33. So that is awesome. I mean, I haven't even done all the winterization that we do to the barn yet. So I've only got part of the winterization done. So I look forward to seeing how good it's going to work once I get this back wall winterized and then get the windows with the plastic over it. Because one of the things that we learned is we don't put a heater in here, but we do keep it warm enough so that everybody doesn't get super cold. But we also want them to be able to get used to the colder temperatures, just in case the power would ever go out or something crazy would happen. They don't immediately get, that's one of the downfalls to keeping heat on your animals is if you ever lose power and such, they get this really cold spike, and there's not a whole lot you can do. So I try to keep my barn above freezing because one, the water doesn't freeze and that becomes a hassle for us to do that kind of stuff. But two, if you can keep it right around like the 30s, that's not too bad. Most of the animals with their fur coats or with their their feather jackets, they do a good job of staying warm. Part of the reason I leave the fan on too is the fan helps lower the humidity, because the humidity is one of the worst parts. Just being really cold with a high humidity just is absolutely miserable. So that's why I like to keep the fan going and try to keep the humidity at a lower level. Again, lots of little tricks that I've learned from raising animals for the last, well, I've been raising animals in West Virginia for about 13 years, and prior to that, I raised chickens. I raised chickens and such in the suburbs for about 2 years. So I've been raising animals for about 15 years. Oh yeah, I just got one more guy to get in here, and then we can travel on to the next barn. Okay, so we're going to travel on. We're going to go to the handy run next. What's cool about the handy run is that during the way we have it set up, this was kind of our greenhouse idea. And the way we have the handy run set up is it actually stays nice and toasty in here. So again, like I said, guys, it's about... outside, it's roughly about 30 degrees. Inside the handy run, you guys can see it's 50. And it is 40, very, very nice low. But this is what's crazy. See this temperature with the handy run? because of the greenhouse plastic and stuff going around, the peak of the day a couple days ago, it got all the way up to 106. And Fernando's gonna decide he's gonna say hi as well. Fernando, stop hitting the camera. I'm gonna have to put you guys there because Fernando just decided he's gonna brush everything and say hi. So, yes, Fernando, I agree. Yes, meow meow face, Fernando. So we still have a few guys outside. What'd you, Fernando? Okay. So Lisa's fixing. We have to get some cages fixed. So right as we're fixing the cages, we still have two groups of chickens that are outside. Let me show you guys one of the ways that we have learned that does a great job keeping the. We call it. So what we do is we have the chicken cages completely wrapped in tarps. And then because there's heavy wind on that direction, we have the wind kind of blocked and that kind of stuff. And then inside there, I'll pull back so you guys can see. And so inside the tarp area, we've got chickens ready to go. So we learned this trick back in 2012 when Superstorm Sandy came through, and we needed a quick way. We needed a quick way with a quick way to be able to deal with the heavy snow that was coming. As Fernando's just gonna, bang around the camera and such. But we had with the heavy snow calling, we had to figure out a really quick trick, and we found out that the tents did a wonderful job. So if you have chickens outside and you just need something immediately, just wrapping it around in like a tent material or greenhouse plastic or something around that really does make a difference. It's not perfect, but it really helps. The downfall is that I can see that their water's frozen, so I'm going to have to come back in just a bit and change out their waters. So that will be something that we need to focus on in just a bit. So let me throw the rest of this food down here for these guys out here, and then we'll get on to getting all of the rabbits fed. You guys have not seen me do this before. You guys can see. They have a feeder inside, but while they're outside running around, they like to search for stuff. So that's one of the tricks, is that we just sprinkle it around, and they like to go around searching for it and eating it off the ground, and it makes them feel like they're still doing what nature intends them to do, scratching and searching and such like that. So here we are in the bunny barn. I think you guys are going to have to sit right here right now. Sorry about that, but have a few guys in here. We need to get fed, and as soon as we get everybody in here fed, we will focus on. We'll get Sylvia some food. So in here, this barn is a little bit colder, but it's still pretty good. In this barn we have at 43. That's another thing I suggest in the list, is having temperature gauges in all of your barns. That way you have a pretty good idea what's going on, so if something crazy happens, you have an idea, at least you can rule temperature in and out. Since a lot of stuff is going to be vulnerable to temperatures, you can just kind of get an idea of what was going on. Like I can definitely, like here you guys can see it definitely got cold enough in here to start the water from freezing. So this was in the bunny. This was in the bunny thing. They still had some water, but you guys can see that water was definitely frozen there. So this one down here wasn't quite as frozen, as you guys can see. It's not quite as, it's just slightly icy. Theirs wasn't as bad. So just a couple more guys to go, and we'll have the bunnies in here nice and fed. Bunnies are definitely on the easier aspect of the homesteading animals to deal with, especially in the winter, since bunnies have built-in fur coats. So you guys can see another big ice clump. So this one's actually going to need some water, because this actually throws most of the ice on these guys. Okay, now we need to get a couple scoops, and we're going to head out to the bunny apartments outside. So for those that don't know, I keep all my food inside plastic, like Rubbermaid, Tupperware material. That way the rats and such can't get to it, or mice or other things can't come in and bother it. So even the bunnies that run around, they can't even get into it, so which is good. Because that's what you don't want, is you don't want the mice and such getting in there and pooping in it and causing issues. Let's give Sylvia some food while we're waiting. I see her over there patiently waiting for another snack. So let's be nice, and we'll get her a little bit more food. So this holds about a gallon of water. This is about what this is. We give her a couple of these a day. This time of year, this might sound weird to some of you, but this time of year we do a nice mix between the food, pig food, and a dog food. So we realized that she really enjoys dog food, and also dog food is pretty high in a lot of proteins. So we just have a nice coon hunt and dog food down here. that Sylvia really enjoys, and so we give her some of that. So, right, Miss Sylvia? Yeah? You want some more food? So, happy piggy. So in the winter months, we definitely want to make sure that she's nice and well fed, because she does get a little grumpier this time of year if she's not fed well, just because she wants the extra weight, the extra meat on her bones. So and we don't want our main guard pig, the one that protects the farm from everything, we don't want her to be unhappy. So okay, so let's head on to the bunny barn, or let's so yeah, this is the downfall to this time of year, is my yard looks a mess. The one downfall to certain types of years with animals and doing projects and such is your yard can look really messy. So just keep that in mind. All those pictures of those pristine farms that you see, those people they're either not farming or they are staging their pictures very, very well. It's probably a mix of both. So probably depending on the type of person that you're meeting. So I'm gonna put you guys right here. Bring you guys down. So out here's the bunny apartments. What we did, and I'll show you after I'm done feeding everyone here. So what we done here in the bunny apartments is these are bunnies that are gonna live outside. And so what we did with these guys is we just wrapped their houses. You guys can see this is pretty frozen. Oh, so let me point something out. If you're gonna farm and you're not gonna wear gloves like I'm not wearing, and your hands are wet, you do need to be extra careful when you touch on days like this that are this cold, anything that's metal, because what'll happen is the wet parts of your hands will stick to the metal parts and it hurts. Fernando, stop petting the camera. So I'm gonna put you guys over here for just a second. Maybe Fernando won't be so much into hitting the camera. So like, see, with wet hands, if this thing was extra cold, what would happen is with the wet hands, it would actually freeze and stick to your hands. So a lot of you might not be aware of that, because a lot of you might not have had wet hands out there in nature before. So it is something that you need to definitely think about. I mean, look at this. So nice hollow frozen container. It does make fun to smash it up against trees though. Nope, bunny. Not in, come on. Come on. Out of the bunny cage. This is Fernando sometimes thinks he's a bunny, and so he goes in and hangs out with the bunnies. As you guys can see, he's in there hanging out with the bunny. And the bunny's probably, yeah, look, see, the bunny's not too happy. Come on, Fernando, out of the bunny cage. You're not a bunny, you're a kitty. Okay. Nope, come on, we're not getting back in there. On the ground. You go. Sometimes the helpers are not as much help as they think they are. Yeah, I need to get some more water in these guys down here because they are completely out. And we're gonna check out these bunnies down under here. They have flipped their food. Okay. Okay, good to go with. We'll go and get everybody some. We'll give everybody a little bit of water in just a few minutes. I'm gonna give some snacks out here to some of the free-range outdoor bunnies because we have some of our bunnies that run around outside, and so we like to leave little piles of snack food around for them because outdoor bunnies get hungry too. Even though they can do a good job of a lot more, they are a lot better at free ranging and such because, well, they can access all of nature. So, but during the colder months, it's always a good idea to make sure that there is a little extra food for them. So my hands, like you guys can see, they're not really that red yet. My hands haven't quite get used to the cold just yet, but usually, and I'm not saying that this is things that anybody out there should do because Lisa can't do it, but most of the time, I can go a lot of cold days without wearing gloves just because I think it's easier to do a lot of the farming stuff without gloves. But I will let people know that is something you need to be aware of. If your hands start hurting or things of that sort and it's really cold, you should definitely get on the ball and warm them up because you don't want to risk having nerve damage or getting frostbite or anything of that sort. But I've been dealing with getting my hands cold ever since I was a kid, playing with ice, playing in ponds, and so I can deal with some really cold before my hands start hurting. Actually, the worst is not usually when my hands hurt when they're cold, but usually when they start warming back up seems to be the big issue for me. Is when playing outside on really cold days. So let's spin this around so you guys can some more lovely bit of the farm. So I'm ordering a few more trees, trying to get a few more trees in this year before the next year begins. I've got nowhere near my typical amount of trees, so I think this year I've only planted I've probably only planted about 100 trees this year. So I normally try to get a lot more than that. But again, we're going to talk about that kind of stuff if we do a show tonight. In tonight's show about solutions, things of how to make the world a little bit better place and to start having conversations about about a lot of stuff, the hope, and to be able to unite all the different mindsets. We're gonna start talking about that and speaking the language of logic and feels at the same time. So here we are. You guys can see what's left over from. I would actually take that all down, but I'll probably now wait till March or April to do that, just because the deer might come over and browse on that a little bit, and I'd rather them eat that than my trees. So we're gonna walk over. I'm gonna show you Stormy Daniels, where she's at, and I'm gonna talk about probably moving her. This hive right here. So this is there's what I've done with this hive. It's a really interesting experiment. So you guys can see the hive inside a dog igloo. I have those chairs up there just in case it gets really windy. So next year I'm going to actually put a couple hives in this location just to see if, because they're not really, like, you can't really see it. There is a cell tower like right there. You can't really see it. And that one, they're kind of protected against that one over there. So, but there is no cell towers in any of that vicinity. So it is it's a place I might think about, and especially since this is the new market garden, as my nephew calls it, the Justin Garden. I might actually just add a couple colonies out here and see how well they're doing. So see, the other thing that I've been doing to protect my trees, you guys can see how there's a black things around the trees here. That one I have to cut out and redo. But what this is this gets it so that if the tree happens to get browsed by deer, the rootstock and everything stays intact, so that even if it eats the top of the tree still has the bulk of its lower stuff to be able to survive and do its thing. So all my black walnuts that I need to get out there and plant. It's just from one tree. Awesome. A tree I planted 16 years ago and produced me some black walnuts. Very excited about that. So, just in time garden. I like that one, Mark. That's a good one. Good. I think I'm going to use that. That's what it's going to be called. So we'll walk back here, say hi to Sylvia. I think I'm going to go in and get some coffee. I'm going to warm up. Right, Miss Sylvia? Yep. Okay. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming and feeding with me today. It was a good time. Sorry, I've been slacking a lot. Just have a lot of there's a handful of busy times a year, and this late fall going into winter is one of my busy times. I have to make sure everything buttoned up for all the different animals to get it all properly prepared for winter and such. And a lot of times I'm either too absent-minded and don't really feel like being distracted and have to focus on the project because the animals come first, and so that's why I don't stream, or I'm just exhausted after all the work that we do. So again, a lot of times if you guys want, you can actually watch us do a lot of the work on the Mavis Pharmacy page, so Lisa's page here on DLive. You guys can always jump on there and watch. And if you guys follow me on Discord or jump onto the Jitsi, a lot of times I can have something in my ear. It's hard to focus on making sure you guys can see what I'm doing, and also make sure I'm getting the project done right. So that's why I don't always stream the project and such. I will stream when we do get everything ready to winterize the barn, because I do want to show you guys that. So, and thank you, Mark, for putting in the Discord link. Again, everybody's welcome. I do want to show you guys one other thing before I head in, so you guys can see right now the extremely ugly setup I have for the bees, but all the bees are actually doing pretty well. But right now, this is my ugly setup for bees. That one, that's the hive I'm starting to wrap with insulation, and then I'll wrap it with this black chloroplast after I'm done. This is actually a hive. There's actually 2 hives stacked on top of each other, so that the warmth of that hive will go up into this hive. And then I have some strong insulation up here, and I just need to get those hives a little bit more handled. But other things have been pressing that needed to be done. So, but all of those hives, they're right here with protection from the sandstone, and there is no, I mean, and just to give perspective, like the cell towers would be over there. So not only do they have the stone, they also have the entire house to protect them. And then the other cell tower is like the equivalent of right there. So it also is protected by the foundation of the house as well. So this is going to be one of the places from now on I'll probably always be raising bees, because I also have, see, what's cool is I've got 2 nooks. So I have got this nook and I have this nook right here. So I can keep bees in both of those nooks pretty easily. And then if I purposely just like landscape around them and make them look really nice, and we have fruit trees here and other things right here, I think this will be a really, really good place to keep the bees, and the thermal mass of that stone there will help keep it just a little bit warmer. At least that's my hope and my plan. So anyways, friends, I hope you have a good rest of the day. I'm gonna warm up a bit, but after I warm up, I might jump on Discord or Jitsi. So if anybody wants to chit chat some more, I might be on there. Other than that, look forward to, there's a good chance I'm doing a show tonight, unless my project goes a lot longer than it's supposed to, but hopefully it won't. So if it doesn't, we'll be good to go. Anyways, friends, it's the Doc. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Till tomorrow. Adios.